Who should take responsibility when a decision involving 541 kilograms of cocaine is made based on assumptions rather than verification? That is the question many South Africans may be asking after explosive testimony at the Madlanga Commission. A new witness, Brigadier Nyuswa, has revealed details about how the massive drug seizure ended up being stored at the Port Shepstone DPCI offices despite known security concerns. Nyuswa admitted that he was the one who recommended the facility to General Senona. Although he knew there were security vulnerabilities, he believed the drugs would be safe and would only be stored there temporarily. But what makes this testimony so significant is what came next. The brigadier acknowledged that he assumed other, more secure options had already been explored. He never confirmed whether police stations with 2-4-hour security had been contacted. He simply believed it had been done. Looking back, he described that as an oversight. He also admitted that he never contacted the forensic laboratory in Pretoria regarding possible storage arrangements because his focus was on finding an immediate solution. As the testimony unfolded, it became clear that several important decisions may have been based on trust, assumptions, and expectations rather than direct verification. Now the spotlight is turning to General Senona and other senior officials who were involved in the process. Could this testimony expose deeper failures within the system? And who should ultimately be held accountable? Welcome to Michael Podcast TV. If you enjoy our South African news and analysis, subscribe to Michael Podcast TV. Hit the like button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important update. Now, let's watch the testimony and hear exactly what Brigadier Nyuswa told the Madlanga Commission.
That's correct. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think you can put the consolidated statement file away for now. Now, insofar as the information from the landlord is concerned, that what he told you is that the safe cannot be breached. Was there anyone else that he had given that information to, or was it just you that he told that at the time? The landlord, which is the father that you're referring to.
Yeah. You know, me and the landlord, we used to talk a lot. I'm not too sure.
You're not sure if he would have told anybody else? You don't know?
Yes.
Had
I'm saying, it would be good if there was an expert called so that what the landlord told me can be disapproved.
Do you know if, did you tell anyone else prior to the theft, did you tell anyone else that the landlord had told you that the safe can't be breached except with the keys?
No, I never told anyone this thing.
You didn't tell anyone?
No.
Okay, so it's really only you, that it's your word that we have to take that the landlord told you that because the landlord, the person that told you passed away.
Yes. I do not know about the other captains that were there before, who retired.
Which captains are you referring to?
There was once a Captain Mayback there. And the other one, sadly, he just passed on now, Colonel Nzingwa. Because it was three of us when we walked into that place.
At the time, when you walked into the place, when you were the unit commander?
Yes.
Okay. Where was Lieutenant Colonel Prinsloo at that time?
He was a warrant officer.
Also at that premises?
Yes.
Okay. And you're not aware if he knows about this information of the landlord?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, but he was junior. And also, Prinsloo, he was once SAP 13 clerk for us in the same office.
Yes, what is the significance of that?
I'm just mentioning it
Okay, so he was in charge of the safe at some point?
at some point.
Okay, but you don't know if he also knows if the
Yes.
land, okay. And now that formed a big part of your reasoning for why you suggested Port Shepstone, is the safe and the information that you were given by the
Landlord. And I thought the trucks would be safe there.
And at that stage, the intention wasn't necessarily for General Senona to take both sets of keys. It would have stayed with the SAP 13 clerk had he not requested the keys.
No, he requested the keys, and I was happy with it because remember, beside the trucks being 27 black bags, there were pieces of bricks. So if anyone at the exit will come in and take one, no one will know.
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. If anyone?
If anyone had access to the safe.
They could have taken it, yes.
And no one will know because it's 541.
Okay. And does General Senona make the suggestion that he takes the keys before you go to Port Shepstone, or when does he first bring up the proposal that he take the keys?
When we were discussing before even phoning Prinsloo, because when he agreed, I also told Prinsloo that we will be taking the keys and the spare key.
Okay. And at that stage, so when you're at the premises now and the exhibits have been stored and it gets locked up, General Senona takes the spare key and the original key.
That's correct.
Okay. That seems to be common cause, that he is in possession of the keys. You then say that he called you the next day, to inform Prinsloo that Mpangase is coming to needs access to the safe to
That's
take
correct.
samples.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay. And how did that process work? Were you involved in that process at all, other than just calling Prinsloo? Or did you just call Prinsloo and that was the end of it?
Excuse me. I wasn't involved. I was in my office. He called me, and I called Prinsloo. I did not see the keys being given to Warrant Officer Mpangase.
I think you say that the last that you saw the exhibits was on that day, the 22nd of June.
That's correct.
Okay. And ordinarily, how would it work with these keys if you wanted to gain access to the safe? So if you required the keys, is there a form that you need to complete, a register, if you want to access the safe?
If you take hold of the keys?
Yes.
Normally, there is a handing over, which I have seen in the documents here. But that is also completed by the person who's handing over the keys.
And are you certain that there were only the two sets of keys? So there wasn't the possibility that someone had made another set of the keys? You're certain that it was only the two?
No, I don't think so.
It's only the two that you're aware of?
I only know about the two.
Okay. And what is the purpose of the spare key? So I just want to understand, because he asks for both sets, but so he's asking for the spare and the original. The SAP 13 clerk would ordinarily keep the original. What happens with the spare key?
I think it was for safety precaution that he doesn't have a key in Durban and someone also on the other side has got a key.
No, I'm asking ordinarily how would it work? Where's the spare key kept if it's just with the SAP 13 clerk has the original? Where does the spare...
Supply chain keeps it and it's locked away.
And that's at the provincial office?
No, it's at the accounting station, which is Port Shepstone.
Okay. Now can we deal with when you next hear about the Port Shepstone premises? That's in October 2021.
Can I just finish the June before you go to October? And I think Commissioner Baloyi also has a question on June. Brigadier, I want to focus on when you and General Senona now leave Port Shepstone, that afternoon or that evening. I mean, you've already conceded an oversight on your part in not trying to find alternative space to store these exhibits. The other issue I have with your conduct is what we dealt with earlier this morning, that you are the provincial commander. You are at Port Shepstone. You can see that no SAP 13 entry is done. You can see that the exhibits are not put in proper exhibit bags and accounted for. And you are just comfortable leaving things as they are and saying, I have no further part to play in this. Are you not supposed to be responsible for ensuring that your members comply with the prescripts, especially the National Instruction of 2017? And that before you leave Port Shepstone, the exhibits are properly accounted for, they are properly put in proper bags, and they are properly stored. Because according to your evidence, as you left that day, you knew that the prescripts were not being complied with.
It is, hence they were told to come back. Remember, we took, the keys were taken. And then the next day they were told to go back and bag the exhibits.
I did not want to interrupt you. I'm talking about the day in question. You are there. You know that the exhibits are there. You know that nobody has gone to Port Shepstone Police Station. You know that nobody has sourced exhibit bags to properly store these exhibits. And you leave the Port Shepstone office with that knowledge, aware that your members have not complied with the prescripts. To say on a later occasion they were told to do it, to me it's not acceptable. Because if they were supposed to do that, they should have done it on the day. Nothing stopped you from giving an instruction on the day to say, go to the Port Shepstone Police Station, make sure that there's a proper entry at that station. While I'm here and I can see that there are no exhibit bags, let me make phone calls to make sure that proper bags are obtained, these exhibits are properly bagged, and they are done in accordance with the prescripts. At some point, people at your level have to take responsibility for these things.
I hear, Commissioner.
And you accept that you did not ensure that that was done.
It was not done, Commissioner.
And is that another oversight on your part?
It will be, Commissioner. Yeah. But I had my superior with me as well, but I guess it's also another oversight on me.
Yeah. And what bothers me with DPCI, this happened in 2021, and only now in June 2026, we get told that you have been suspended for your part in all of this. It seems like DPCI does not take action when prescripts are disregarded and people don't do what they are supposed to do. And that's a general comment. You don't need to comment to that, but I thought it's something I should say because I know they are watching and they might, going forward, attend to what I'm raising with you. It bothers me that it's 5 years later and only now they appear to be taking action. Commissioner Baloyi.
Brigadier, the keys to the safe, we've had evidence that there is someone called an exhibits clerk or something.
That's correct.
Is that correct? So does it mean in this case, and that would be someone at Port Shepstone Police Station, if things were done properly?
Yes.
That person should have held these keys.
No, the keys for Port Shepstone DPCI will be held at Port Shepstone.
So they should not be at head office?
No.
Okay. And so by taking the keys General Senona effectively became the exhibit clerk, took the place of the exhibit clerk.
Yes,
That's what it means.
yes.
Okay, so this is another area of non-compliance with how things should have been done, that the keys did not remain with the exhibit clerk at Port Shepstone DPCI. You accept that?
I accept.
Okay. Now, when you, now these exhibits are in the safe and you all pack up to leave, what instructions were given, if any, about security?
General Senona told Lieutenant Colonel Prinsloo that they must increase patrol and visit the office regularly.
Is that all he said? In those general terms, increase patrol, visit the office regularly?
Yes.
As far as
If I remember correctly. Maybe.
Well, his testimony, I think, is that he said that someone should drive by every 2 hours. Do you remember anything that's specific? Not that it helps, but do you remember anything that's specific?
Commissioners are...
You don't remember anything that's specific? But you say they said they must visit the office and do patrols.
Yes. Anyway, the office need to be visited because it wasn't not about, like I said earlier on.
Sorry, say that again?
The office need to be visited regularly because of other documents that are there and state equipment.
But what does it mean the office must be visited? People go to the office to work.
Yes.
Are you saying...
No, even after hours, Commissioner, and they will make entries to say office check, all in order.
So they would do that, just go in
Yes.
randomly and say, I came in to check, all in order?
Yes,
All right.
especially in the DPCI or in the detective environment, there's always people on standby to attend to cases.
I'm trying to distinguish police officers going in to see if there's anything that needs attention,
Yes.
and them going in as if they're security people. They've come to check the security setup. Are you saying in the normal course, police officers are required to go in and check for security breaches, whether everything security-wise is still in order? You say there's such a requirement.
It is a requirement because when you come to the office, you got to check the perimeters, check the building. If everything is okay, you'll make an OB entry and then you leave.
Is that prescribed anywhere? Or it depends on how officers feel on any one day?
There is a national, not a national, it's a standing order, I think, but offhand I can't tell you now.
And who's responsible for that? So if there's no visit like that, and there's no entry, OB entry, that someone did come, checked the perimeter, checked the windows, and checked the doors, if there's no entry that speaks to that, is there any consequence at all? And who does the consequence attach to, if it is a requirement?
The unit commander, because his function is command and control of the unit.
Yes.
He needs to take actions.
And in this case would be who? Colonel Prinsloo?
Colonel Prinsloo. Because also, when you discipline people, it's a line function. I, at the provincial office, cannot go to the unit and discipline people.
Yes. But you, as a line officer, can discipline Warrant Officer Mpangase for not ensuring that the exhibits were in exhibit bags. It's a question that I was going to ask you much later, but you raise it now.
No, it has to be done by the unit commander.
And you say in this case, who should have done it with respect to Mpangase?
Mm.
Who would have been the unit commander?
The acting.
Lomo.
Yes.
But Lomo didn't know anything about this operation. You knew about this operation.
Yes.
So it would have been you, because on the evidence so far, I think it's Kelner. So you were responsible to take action once you saw that Mpangase did not ensure that the exhibits are in exhibit bags when they were left at Port Shepstone.
Yes.
Okay. And the same, maybe let me ask a different question about Colonel Jacob. We know that from his evidence, and I think you've confirmed it, that he was effectively signed onto duty by Warrant Officer Mpangase because you did not speak to him to get him signed onto duty from his vacation. He's on leave. You and him say Mpangase called you, Warrant Officer Mpangase called you or came to you and told you that the crime intelligence contact wanted Jacob onto the job and you approved it. So you signed him onto duty. You
Yes.
approved his coming on duty.
I agreed for him to come on duty.
Okay. And you would have been the one that made the entries. So you signed him up. If we look at SAP's documents for the 22nd of June that year, we will find that you recorded, because we know he never went to the office. We must find...
It was a verbal authority, Commissioners.
So there's no record in SAPS that he came on duty that day,
Unless
other than you.
Yes, unless himself, he should have booked himself on
Yes.
the diary.
And when did he book off duty, do you know? And how did he book off duty?
When we got to Port Shepstone, he was not there. I was told that he didn't go to Port Shepstone.
So he didn't work the whole day. Well, can you just explain what that means? Because we've also had evidence, I think it's Colonel Flynn, if I'm not mistaken about his title, who said, yes, members can come in, can be called to come on to... I'm told it's General Flynn. I do apologize to him. We've heard that members can be called in to come up to come on duty,
Yes,
even though they are on leave. But once they have signed in, they're in for the whole day. They've reported for duty that day. That doesn't seem to have happened here. Can you just explain how it is you considered it appropriate that Colonel Jacob would come on in the way that he did? He doesn't speak to you, he speaks to Mpangase. You, through Mpangase, you say he can come on duty, but he doesn't stay. He stays on for a few hours up to Isipingo, and then he leaves, and there's no record that he came on duty and that he knocked off before the end of the day. To me, it seems like an irregularity, another irregularity about what happened on that day.
He should have signed his diary, and also when he was leaving, he was supposed to have told me. But I only found out when I was at Port Shepstone that he was not there.
And as the one that authorized him to be on duty and not Lomo, why did you not ensure that that paperwork was done? And I ask you this because there is a certain disquiet about how he comes on duty and then disappears without there being any record. And it's compounded by how this whole incident plays out eventually. So there's some concern, speaking for myself, there is some concern and suspicion, as you probably have heard from all the evidence and how we've engaged with witnesses about, in fact, what was going on here. Was this a legitimate operation? And you inadvertently or knowingly would appear to have contributed to the anomalies in how this whole operation played out. And one of the issues is, how does he sign up on duty through Mpangase? You don't speak to him. So Mpangase could easily have said to you, have lied to you, I'm going with Jacobs, you wouldn't have known. There's the skipping of General, I think it's General or Lieutenant Colonel Lomo. Nobody speaks to her. We haven't had any satisfactory explanation for that. He comes in for a few hours, he comes in for a few hours and then he leaves. So far, we haven't seen any record that is evidence that he was properly on duty, authorized by his superior. And then things play out the way they did.
Like I said, Commissioner, he should have booked himself on the diary, because should anything have happened to him, like if the member meets an accident when he's on duty, the state remains liable to cover the cost and stuff. But then if he did not book himself on duty, the state would not have covered him.
Perhaps more importantly, the state wouldn't know what exactly his role was. What did he do in this operation? Because there's absolutely no record of it.
Yeah.
And my discussion with it is about your role in all of that, that as a superior, you don't seek to ensure that he has complied, he does comply with, at very least, the recording part of his being on duty and what it is that he has done.
Yeah. Commissioner, we're not talking about a constable here. It's a lieutenant colonel, a very senior person. He knows himself what to do. But I take note of what you are saying to me. But he should also be responsible senior officer, knowing that when he comes on duty, he books himself on duty, there is also an OP entry that is made in the office.
I don't doubt that, and he's not the emphasis, his conduct is not so much the emphasis of my discussion with you. It is your conduct as his superior who approved him coming on duty, the failings on your part, that there's no record, there's no consequence of there being no record, him not entering into the book, because you haven't done anything about it. It's really that. And if it's a criticism, it's